front here and to, you have your microphone?
I do.
Good, very good. So take it away.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim. Hey guys. Thank you. It is really a pleasure to be here with all of you. It's actually really a big pleasure to be a part of IBM and being at the center of the strategic imperatives for IBM, being part of the cloud team. So this is the place to be. I think it's a very high bar right now to come to the stage after speakers like Eric and Tim and Bill. I'll do my best to keep you engaged. By way of introduction, I've been doing enterprise sales for about 10 years, working with Microsoft, Oracle, Salesforce. This is my second year with IBM, and this year I'm focused 100% on energy and utilities. And I'll share with you, I guess, some perspectives that hopefully will be helpful for you. The agenda is very simple, so I will save you the slide. We'll go over what is important in the industry, what are some trends and some of their priorities. Then we'll talk about a couple success stories that IBM has had in the industry. And then we'll close with some very specific and relevant sales plays that you can go and discuss with your clients. Does that sound good? All right, so let's start here. I want to start this with a very mind-blowing thought. So please read this. Over 50% of the Fortune 500 companies over the past 17 years have either gone out of business, have been acquired, or have filed for bankruptcy. So think about it for a second. Those are the largest, most stable and solid companies in the world, and pretty much 50% of them have gone out of business. So this is the result of disruption, right? The Uber effect, where we have the largest taxi company in the world not owning a single car. The Airbnb effect, the largest accommodation provider in the world not owning a single piece of real estate. The largest retailer in the world doesn't own any inventory, and so on. The question is, so what? Well, it is already happening in the utilities industry, as Bill mentioned a second ago, right? With companies like Solar City. They're not really the only one. There are many other smaller companies like Invenergy and so on that are getting into the industry, and they are disrupting. And this is definitely something that is important to the executives and your clients. Many other things going on in the news today, right? Well, not today, but this week, right? The Prime Minister of Australia declared officially an energy crisis because the high temperature is causing everybody, of course, to have their air conditioning, and there are power outages all across the country. So what happened? Elon Musk went on Twitter and said, I can solve the problem in 100 days. So they went on a back and forth, and after all of that, they asked him, how serious are you about it? He said, I'm very serious. If I can do it in 100 days, everything is for free. So he may get that deal and absolutely disrupt the industry in that country. So it can happen to your clients, right? And these are conversations that are very relevant to them. But it's not only Elon Musk. There is also people like Bill Gates, who announced a coalition of 28 high-profile executives, including Jeff Bezos from Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, the owner of Alibaba in China, and other 20-something high-profile executives, investing to start $1 billion. They're planning to have $5 billion in R&D for new energy generation and battery technology. They're actually already investing in a technology to be able to transform solar energy into liquid energy. And that's already happening. It is already there. And they are doing it not only for the love of science, they are ready to come and take ownership of the next generation of technology in this industry. This is important to your clients. Again, those are just a few examples. Now, I'm going to share with you some of the industry imperatives. IBM published about 2 years ago a white paper on the future of the energy and utilities industry. And these are some of the trends that we see there, right? Smart appliances, washers talking to the dryer, coffee machines that turn themselves off. And all of this creates energy optimization, which is great for the consumer. It is reducing revenue for the utility companies, right? Consumers not only generating their own industry, but now selling the surplus. We have a highly regulated industry, which is not a new trend, but all of those core expectations from the past remain, in addition to the challenges of all the new trends that are coming and that they need to transform and adapt. battery technology I already mentioned, right? Automated demand response. They're using advanced statistics to predict what is going to be the demand. In any given city, right? Any different area of the city has different consumption patterns, and they change from day to day and from time to time during the day, and so on. So they need to be prepared to have the right supply and not have energy that goes to waste. Electric vehicles, also a disruption. That changes the pattern of consumption. Now, suburban America, for example, when the lights would go on at 10 or 11 p.m., now they are still using energy. So the utility cannot turn off some of those generators, right, that they would do maintenance. Now, that's a disruption. Energy management systems. You can go to Home Depot and buy one. There is Nest, recently acquired by Google. By the way, pause there. Do you listen to all of these names? We've talked about Google, Amazon, Facebook. All of these people are ready to jump in and take ownership of this industry. We already talked about consumer-owned generation, microgrids, school campuses, or big places like this convention center may have their own microgrid to generate, if not all, some of their consumption needs, right? Then we have what is called now the prosumer, which is the professional consumer. All of us, empowered by the mobile phones, a bill once a month doesn't cut it anymore. Consumers expect a more personal, relevant communication, and one-fits-all doesn't do it anymore, right? So again, those are some of the trends. This month, there was another white paper published by the World Economic Forum in coordination with the New York Times, and that document, it's a long document, and it summarizes kind of the trends to 3 areas, which are these same things that we see here, right? The need for innovation, right? The need to engage with the consumers, right? Sorry, I'm missing one of them, okay? But so these are some of the things that are going on. This is absolutely relevant right now. Very quickly, these are some things that are very important, right? So safety, don't kill your employees. These are dangerous jobs, so this is really very important for them, right? Security and cybersecurity is absolutely relevant. Things that are obvious, right? The service needs to be available, it needs to be reliable. It needs to be affordable, therefore they need to come up with new ways to generate energy in a more efficient way. They need to expand their portfolio and go into renewables, go into wind and solar, and so on. Resiliency, the ability to, well, they want to be reliable and available, but when they do go, the service goes south, they need to have all the infrastructure and also all the IT systems to be able to go back immediately and restore the service. So that's something important for them. And then something that is called the rate case, and I assume there is a kind of mix here across the room of people who are maybe new to the cloud, some others new to the energy and utilities. So this is something very important to understand. And I would say in any enterprise sales, it's fundamental to understand how your clients make money, right? Basic. And these guys have a very unique way to do it. So they are regulated by the public utility commissions on their states. So they have pretty much a local monopoly supported by the state, in exchange for them committing to provide service to everyone in that geography. Even if there is just one house at the top of the mountain, they need to invest $2 million to provide the infrastructure to serve that one guy. In exchange for that, they have guaranteed income. So how does this work? There is this mathematical calculation here. Simple. Rate base times the allowed rate of return plus expenses equals the famous rate case. What does that mean in English? Is their assets minus depreciation, what they own, which is their capital expenses, times that rate that the Public Utility Commission says you will get reimbursed X amount of money for your investments, right, to improve that infrastructure. And then, plus the operational expenses. These operational expenses are not considered as part of that multiplication, right? So they pretty much, they don't get that rate, return on assets for operational expenses. Why does this matter? Because cloud, of course, is an operational expense, not a capital investment. So understanding that is a challenge. The important part here is don't say, okay, so we can't sell cloud. And, for the little time that I've been part of this industry, I've heard it. Don't shut your mind off. The question is, how can we sell cloud? And there are many ways to do it, and IBM is doing it, right? So number one, basics, right? Financial selling. You need to show them the ROI, right? How they can save money or how they can make more money. Value selling, it needs to be aligned to their priorities that we just kind of quickly went through right now. Help them gain efficiencies, help them improve the client experience, which is important for them. But then there are other things going on. IBM Global Finance has come up with some kind of creative way where, and this doesn't apply to every company, and many people are not open to this. I'm just sharing with you some of the possible creative ways, right, to sell cloud as a capital, as a lease on capital, right? So that's a way, something you can discuss with your, IBM Finance team. Then there is this association, right, the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissions. So as the utilities are regulated by the public utility commissions, then they are regulated by this national organization. They just published in November of 2016 a document from their meeting where they are explicitly recommending to the public utility commissions to include cloud as part of the rate case simply because it makes sense. It's that simple. So this is being discussed. I was at Distributech, a few weeks ago. It was discussed by the executives of the companies. They are pushing back, right? It's not only how the utility companies change, but also the regulations need to change as the world is changing around it. Another very important point, everybody is afraid of security in the cloud, right? So there are other very highly regulated industries like financial services, healthcare, telecom, and even government that are already using cloud. And by the way, they are getting better customer satisfaction ratings, right? There is a study published by J.D. Powers that shows how utilities is behind all of those other industries. And then really the last one is be creative, right? Again, there are many ways to be creative when you are engaging with your client. And if ultimately you find someone who says, listen, we're not gonna get any cloud, that's fine. You can do a SaaS attach. Sell on-premise and do SaaS attach, right? And you get your commission. So there are many ways of being creative. I think this is very important to keep that mindset. So kind of quickly, just to share with you again here, right? So this is kind of the value chain of energy, right? From generation to transmission, it goes to substations. They transform the voltage to go to distribution and ultimately going to the consumption phase, right? All of those stages are transmitting a lot of data from multiple sources, multiple devices. You may not think of the utility industry as a pioneer, but they have been a pioneer in Internet of Things. Before it was called Internet of Things, right? They were tracking and monitoring and analyzing data from a bunch of devices, right? From the meters in the consumers to all of this value chain. And now they get more data from the consumers and back and forth. And they have all of these systems, and they need to make all of that meaningful. They have a lot of data, and I'm not saying that they will move everything to Bluemix infrastructure, right? Formerly SoftLayer, but they may move some of it, and we may give them some cognitive services on top of that through Bluemix. So that's a conversation to have with your clients. So better business outcomes. There are many things to do this. Sadie and Katie is, the system average, pretty much the time of a power outage, right? How long does it last, and how long is a given customer out of power? So reducing those metrics is very important, and leveraging things like IoT and analytics to be predictive, right? Instead of just descriptive, as Bill also mentioned a moment ago, that will help them be successful, and we can help them. And there are many other areas, right? Better utilization of assets. Again, if they can be predictive, they can understand, they can know that they don't need to have 3 generators on in a given area, they can just have 1, and have operational efficiencies. And so on. I need to kind of, we have a lot of content, have just 10 more minutes. So I'll keep going. There are many areas where they can have better outcomes leveraging innovative technology, and I would say more importantly, innovative thinking that we can help them have, right? So keep going forward here. So again, transforming the business. This is, I think, at the center of our conversation. You guys all know that cloud pretty much provides unlimited scalability up and down as needed, and the ability to provision whole environments or replicate whole environments in a matter of weeks instead of months, or days instead of weeks, that they would do in a kind of on-premise fashion, right? have continuous development and delivery of applications. So what does that mean? Well, there are many other areas, but just to mention some, right? Advanced metering infrastructure, which is smart meters, right? For smart meters, the rollout of those projects lasts, in some cases months, in some cases can go well over a year. So instead of buying all the infrastructure for that project, they can leverage cloud and pay as they go. They start small, and as they continue to grow, they continue just to increase their pay. It's an excellent example to move to our infrastructure, and again, for us to put some cognitive services there that can help them on our Linux platform. Ad hoc analytics, the same thing for simulations that they may just do once a month. Why do you pay for the infrastructure for the whole year? They may just do it every few months, and so on. DevOps, I guess you all are familiar with that story. Weather analytics, right? Some of the main cause for disruptions in the service is weather events, right? Whether it's a snowstorm, like right now in the East Coast, or a tornado or whatever. So this is a challenge for them. So having weather analytics that again we can provide is definitely very relevant for them, right? And then many other areas, right? Offsite redundancy, right? For disaster recovery, right? So they have a data center, and they may need to have what is called geo-redundancy and have a whole other data center somewhere else, right? Well, we may help. Again, providing our infrastructure for them to have that redundancy. Company mergers, right? So so now, which system do we use? So cloud is again a very good system when that process is going on to help them be more efficient and you can reduce the time of that process that can be very costly. So what do we have here? Okay, so now I'll share with you a couple examples, and I'll start with what I think is relevant for today, MD Energy. They provide energy for all the state of Nevada. They serve over 1 million Nevada residents, as well as over 40 million tourists and visitors. I call FOS. Very likely they are powering this convention center, unless they have a microgrid, in which case they are not. But they are also my client. And so what they did is that with the help of IBM and a premier business partner of IBM, Silker Tech, which is